guys, welcome back to another episode of Between Two Barbells. I am here with our new coach, Lauryn Self, and our member of the month of, September. Glad that you're here. September-ish, somewhere around in there. Yeah. How was your day?
It was good. Did some interesting things today.
Like what?
We went up to, it's the flea market, Top of the Mountain Flea Market in Attala.
Okay. What'd you find?
I didn't find anything. It was more of an experience than anything.
Okay.
We have a friend here from out of town, and so we just wanted to take him for the
full Is this like
experience.
A yearly thing that you guys do?
This is not something I've ever done.
Okay.
This is something that my husband, Steven, wanted to go do. And so it was an experience for me and our friend.
So are y'all like flea market like people?
Nope.
Or it was just like a random?
It was just a random,
Interesting.
What are we gonna do today?
Okay.
Let's go walk around the flea market.
Okay. So I've got some friends and they'll go up to the one in Nashville, I think. Mm-hmm. But so are you a person that you have a thing in mind and you're gonna go look for the thing, or you just like to go look just to go look?
Just to go look. I mean, I have had things in the past that I've been looking for, but I don't normally go to like a flea market. I'd go to like a highway hunters type thing if I wanted to get something like that.
I gotcha.
But no, typically not the flea market.
So did y'all bring like a trailer or like a truck with you, like for just in case?
We didn't even bring cash. Like it was just like we're gonna go to the flea market today. Okay. We actually got some ices. That's all we bought when we were there. Little ices.
So you're a coach here now.
Yes.
Congrats, by the way. So you made it through the onboarding process, and you've done your first couple classes, or first several weeks of classes now?
Yeah, a couple weeks now.
So we had a meeting Saturday, and I so appreciated some of the things that you said during our meeting, mainly the difference between being an athlete and being a coach, and the things you kind of miss or that you don't see happening as an athlete, and then the things that you worry about as a coach. What are some of those things that kind of just like pop in your head?
I mean, I didn't really worry about other people being able to do things without hurting themselves, and now I feel like it's on me kind of, like if they don't know exactly what they're doing. So that's the first thing that comes to mind. It's like I worry about, do they know how to do this? Or if I didn't address it and I see them doing something that doesn't seem safe, I'm like, oh God, that's on me. So that's been the major thing for me, is just making sure that no one gets hurt when I'm teaching, because I didn't tell them how to do it, you know, kind of thing. I don't know, just walking in and having to make sure I've spoke to everyone. I usually just come in, like when it's my class time, I sneak in around the back, just sit there, waiting for class to start. So it's been just something totally different, which has been great. It's fun. I talk to people that I work out with more now than I did before, just because I don't have to sneak in and just do my workout. Yeah. It's different.
So how long have you been in the CrossFit space?
I started doing CrossFit in 2016.
Okay.
At Coleman CrossFit, and I've kind of been doing it ever since. There was like a little short year, well, I guess it's not a short year, it's a year, that I didn't really do anything. I kind of just got out of it, and I knew right away that wasn't going to work out for me. But it was a nice little break, I guess, to clear your mind and get back to it. So it's been, about 4 or 5 years roughly.
Okay. So you started over there. You did it in California for a while. Mm-hmm. So let me back up. What were you doing in Coleman? How long were you doing CrossFit there? And then what kind of led you guys to California? What were you doing out there? And what did that look like?
Okay. So I was working out at just like a regular gym, and I started dating my now husband, and he was doing CrossFit. He actually started doing CrossFit in California, had come back home, and was working out this gym, and he's like, you've got to come, just come hang out, see what it's about. So I did, and I was like, no, I'm not doing any of that. And so I left, I didn't come back, and he's like, well, we're just like lifting weights today, like stuff you would normally do, just, like deadlifts. He said, come and drop in. So I did, and I was like, I like these people, like I know some of them, I'll try it out. So I started like dropping in a little bit here and there. And I realized just from like talking to people, I thought, well, I can learn this stuff. And then it became like almost like a challenge to do it.
Yeah.
And so then I started going there. So I did that for about a year. Steven and I are both in healthcare, and we decided we were going to go travel. So we went to California to do that, and we found a gym there. The first place we went to was San Diego. We found a gym there called 40th, and we started going there. That was really interesting because our gym was, you know, small, like be 5-6 people working out. This one was like there was 25 plus every single time we went to class. It was super intimidating. There was a weightlifting team, so you could like do weightlifting there, or you could just do class, and it was always just, there was 2 or 3 coaches. That was different for me. But then we left there, went to another smaller gym, felt like home again, but of course programming's different. And it was just okay. Same community, same great community everywhere we went. Left there, went to another one out in the desert, and that one was super cool. Reminds me a lot of our gym here. We did weightlifting there too. You could like do either. You could do just like CrossFit stuff, or you could do weightlifting, or they had like a endurance type stuff. So that was cool. And then we kind of like decided we were going to go off on our own, do our own thing. We did like a home programming type deal.
Okay.
I forget what it was called, but that was fun. You got to really focus on the things you wanted to focus on. You told them what equipment you had, and
did y'all have like a home gym, or
we did. We had like some things, like we had a rig and some weights and barbells. We didn't have a med ball. We didn't have any dumbbells. We had an air bike.
Okay.
It was awful.
Yeah.
So you had to like, whatever you had, you went with it, and that's what you did. And so that was fun for a while, but we couldn't work out together. We didn't have enough space. So it got to be super boring. Then I just started doing like Olympic lifts, and then that got boring. And then we just started doing other things, and that's when it like fizzled out for a while. And then we decided to come home, and I had been working.
How long were you, what was the time frame? How long were you guys out there?
We were out there for 4 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was a while. We stayed in certain places for a while, but we were just in California, Southern California. We did San Diego. We went a little bit further north to San Diego and Escondido, and then we went to the desert in Victorville.
Okay.
And then we went to LA.
Nice.
And then we stayed in LA until we came back.
What made you guys decide to come back home?
COVID.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Everything.
so everything went kind of downhill from there, like with our contracts. We worked at Children's Hospital. And so we didn't really have to deal with COVID there, but they quit doing their surgeries, like elective surgeries. So the census went way down.
Right.
So they were going to let us go. We just decided to leave. We could have stayed, like it would have went back up, and we could have got jobs, and there was other stuff, like we could do crisis jobs. We just didn't want to. We had only done, babies. So the thought of going to like a COVID ICU was out for both of us. So we just came home, and it was time. It'd been 4 years. We were both ready to get back and be back here. So we came back. I had a friend here. I had been trying to talk her into doing trying to talk her into doing CrossFit for like years, and she had finally started doing CrossFit, and she said, well, I'm at this gym, it's a newer place, I really love it, I love the people. So I actually started following you guys before I ever came home. And I was like, I guess I'll check it out, see, She tried to get me to come when I came home to visit, and I just wouldn't because I hadn't done it in like a year, and I was I don't know. And so when I came back, I came in here 5 a.m. with her.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
My first class back was at 5 a.m.
And you're not a 5 a.m.er.
I am not a 5 a.m.er. It was different. So we came back, and first class, I was like, this is my place. I really like it. It was, I don't remember who was coaching. I think it was Christina.
Okay.
Was coaching that day. And it was a huge class, and I loved it. And I liked the programming. I ended up doing like a full week. I was like, let's just go for a whole week, make sure that we like it. Because like I said, go in other gyms, you learn that programming is not the same everywhere.
Right, for sure.
And so I was like, let's just hang out, see if we like it. So of course we did. Within like 2 classes, we were like, this is it. I loved the people automatically, and just the vibe here. And that's where it went from there.
So back when you were in California, you went to these couple gyms. You talked about the one gym that was a little bit more kind of like more of a place like what we have. What were some things that kind of differentiated the few? Like, how was, I guess mostly for me, I'm more curious about like the coaching and how the programming went and like that kind of thing.
Really, the programming was very, very similar. They were a little less, maybe did a little less. Like it was more like at the beginning of class, they hung out more.
Okay.
As far as coaching, it was very similar. The coaches that were there had been doing it for a very long time.
Right.
They were very interested in, same things that you guys are, like what can you do, what can't you do, are you hurt, how are you feeling today?
Right.
But we did more like at the beginning of the class, it was there, like so say it was a 5 o'clock class, you get there at 5 o'clock, but you probably wouldn't start working out until like 5:30.
Okay.
Because it was just like a hangout.
Right.
Which was cool because we're normally not in a hurry, but
Right.
it's different. But as far as
what was the demographic too? Were they different at all? Like the type of people, like, so were they mostly like younger people or older or married or families?
It was all the above.
Okay.
So it was really more like middle-aged people. There was some younger people, but not a lot. Mostly my age and about middle age. And then you would have a few like older people, like 50 plus in there. There was this one guy that was like 70 years old and very, very impressive. He was way more athletic than I am.
Really?
Yeah. So it was about the same.
Right.
Yeah, it was about the same. They didn't have a little daycare, so the little kids just like running around
yeah.
like
Yeah.
You're always nervous, but that was fine too, I guess. But it was also like because it's in California, the weather's super mild there, so it was inside outside. That was
awesome.
Cool. So there wasn't a rig out there, but anything that wasn't on the rig, you could go outside and do it.
That's fun.
Yeah, so that was cool because you could be open,
Right.
and do whatever you wanted to do.
Yeah.
So that was different.
So what is because I've gotten to know Stacy, obviously, through the time that she's been here. What did she say when you told her that you were coming home?
Oh, she was super excited. She never wanted me to go. When I left, I told her I was going for 3 months, knowing good and well that I was going to be gone for longer than 3 months. But I was like, it's just 3 months.
I'm protecting you, really.
Yeah.
Did she come and visit at all?
No, she did not. She actually met me in Vegas one time for my birthday.
Okay.
But it never really worked out for her to come, which really stinks because I would have loved for her to come. She'd have loved it. But
Right.
it never worked out, unfortunately. Vegas was cool, though. She did get to come there. It was fairly close to where we were. It's like
Right.
2 hours away, kind of like going to Nashville.
Right.
So
sounds like you were kind of always like talked into doing CrossFit, which is funny to me. So at this point, which now that you're coaching and stuff, but I guess before this, when you kind of came back in here, why did you sign up?
I signed up because I did take that year and I realized like how much it affected me as a person. I mean, I'm kind of a shy person in general, but when I'm like more active and I feel good about myself, I'm not so shy, I guess, and I want to go and do more. When I feel terrible about myself, obviously I don't want to, and I had kind of like gone back in that hole, which being out there in California, you don't really get to know many people. It's just me and Steven. So I had kind of like gone back into my hole. And so I knew when we came back here, like that was the most exciting part about coming back is because I knew I would go back to the gym. And so I knew I needed to come back. I needed to be healthier because I wasn't. I was just eating whatever I wanted, doing nothing. I would go for a hike with my dogs, but that was about as active as I got. So for me, it was just, I need to get back to being who I am. And I've always been an active person, so I don't know, like, this is not working for me.
Right.
And of course, as soon as I got back here, I felt like I got right back into feeling more like myself.
So I've seen some pictures of you on a motorcycle. Tell me about that. And like how, like what is that? How, what, like all the things about that.
Well, so my husband coaches at a superbike school. It's based out of California, but he met them here in Birmingham at Barber. but they do a lot more in California. So we had been there for about a year, and he met up with one of his friends that coaches there, and he was like, man, I really want to get back into it. And I was totally against it. I didn't like it at all. It scared me. I didn't realize how safe it could be. And so he was like, I'm going to do it, Lauryn. It's just am. So it's like one of those things where I'm like, okay, it's not worth it. Just let him do it. So he did. He got back into it, and I was going because I wanted to see what it was about, but it was so boring. Like, I hated being there, sitting in the hot sun, because you go out to the desert to do this. It's like 100 degrees. Yeah. It's dry. It's not humid, but it's still 100 degrees hot. So I was like, I mean, maybe I should try this out.
If I'm going to be here.
Yeah, if I'm going to be here, I'll try it out. I see other girls doing it, I could do it. So I got a bike, went to the parking lot that night, and Steven put me on a motorcycle, and I fell flat, just fell right over. Not even moving, just. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know about it. I don't know. So I had this motorcycle. I have my beat up knee, and I don't want to ride. He finally talked me into going like out to the track and getting back in the parking lot. And I had like full leathers on in this little parking lot. And I got to riding, and it was fun. And I went straight that day from the parking lot to the track. Scared to death, nonetheless. But I went straight to the track, and I just slowly started going to every school, and they have what they call corner workers. So this is on a track. The most local one here will be Barber, so that kind of gives you an explanation of what it is. So each turn or corner, they have someone working there to try to kind of see like what other people are doing, if they're doing their drills they're supposed to be doing, if they're being dangerous, and then when they're not, I know he's really wanting to be in the video. When we're not like watching the track, you get to ride. And they do 20-minute sessions. So you like sit for 40 minutes, then you ride for 20. Okay. So that gives you an opportunity in a safe space, because riding in a track is way safer than riding on the road. I don't think I would ever ride on the road by myself. I rode with Steven, but so it gave me an opportunity to slowly like learn. And because Steven being a coach and his friends being a coach, we tried out the whole husband and wife coaching thing. It didn't work out. So a friend of his started coaching me, and then I eventually took the school, and I learned to do it. It's so fun. You get like adrenaline rush every time you get on there.
Is it just like a circle track, or is it like different?
It's like all like corners and stuff. You know, it's not just like a round track. Okay. You know, you're like taking corners and stuff. Yeah.
Go away this way. Yeah. Go away this other way.
So people are always asking, how fast are you going? Well, it's not really about like the speed for me. It's taking those turns and stuff. Because you have to. There's a lot of science behind it, which is very interesting. I would have never thought, but there's a lot of science behind it, and you know how you take the turns and how fast you can take the turns is the cool part. And it's not really about how fast you go, but just the. I really like that. Just the adrenaline of it. Kind of the same thing you get like right before you're like about to do a really scary workout, like your heart starts pounding. It's like that the whole time. And it's a lot of exercise.
Oh, sure.
When I wasn't working out and I was doing that, it killed me to go out there and do 20-minute sessions. And then after I started working out again, we went to Barber back in May, and that was the first time I really got to ride for a whole week since I started working out. And I was like, I can ride for 20 minutes and I don't even get tired. Like, this is awesome.
So you're just learning how to ride, like you're not doing any races, or like, do you want to do races, or like what does that look like?
I don't want to do races. So for me, it's just fun. Okay. It's kind of like, it's the same thing as everything else. You're always learning something. So I'm finally at a point now where I could just go ride and have fun. And I still learn. It's like every time you get on the track, you think about, what am I going to work on this time? Right. So I always have something to work on, and it's just fun for me. I'm not really at the point where I want to race. I've been to some races. Steven has raced before, and I'm just like, there's no way. Like, those people are relentless. Like, they're not scared. Like, I've rode with some racers, and they like get right up on you. Like, at the school, you have to have a 6-foot like barrier. Like, no one can come within 6 foot of you. And they're on top of you. Like, they touch you, and that's not cool for me. I'm not there. I'm not all right with it.
So you say that you have things to work on. What would be some things that you, like, I don't know anything about?
Yeah. So when you're taking a corner, you have like an apex. So the goal is to get to that apex in the most, or the smoothest way, I guess. So For me, it's working on hitting that apex smoothly every time. It's
Is
really,
that the how far you like lean? Is that what?
no?
is that what that means?
You have a turn. Your apex is going to be
Oh, gotcha.
here.
Okay.
And so your track's here, and you're wanting to get straight across that apex, and that's the quickest way to take the turn. So for me, it's almost always I pick a corner, and I'm like, all right, I want to make sure I hit the apex of this corner every time. So that's one thing, and then just working on when you get to feeling more comfortable on the bike, you can work on your body positioning. So I'll go out there the next time and I'll work on my body positioning, which is just kind of finessing the motorcycle, you know, because the motorcycle doesn't want you sitting straight up and down. It wants you to kind of hang off, but you're not hanging off like a monkey, which is what most people think.
Right.
But you're not. You're actually just, once you get to go at a certain speed, you have to kind of get off the motorcycle to allow it to do its job.
Right.
So I work on that sometimes. You know, just there's so many things that you can work on that thing. But yeah, just like picking one thing when you go out there, like, oh, I'm going to work on getting the right gear when I go into this corner this time, or I'm going to work on hanging my leg off this time, or not hanging off this time.
Right.
Just seeing what you can do differently to make you go faster, make you feel more comfortable, or things of that nature.
I think that is your explanation of the learning new things. I think that's what, and probably you too, that's what drew me into CrossFit, was that I'm working out, so I'm working on my health and fitness and wellness and all of the things, but there are so many different things that I could get better at that it keeps it fresh, and I stay intrigued, and there's always something new that I could be a little bit better at.
Yeah.
And it sounds like the same way with that. And that's what makes everything, at least for me, that's what makes everything more fun.
Oh yeah,
Like
for
if
sure.
I'm not like learning or getting better at whatever it is,
Yeah.
like why am I even doing
Yeah, if you're
it?
just there and you've done it, like you reach up.
Yeah, you're a plateau and it's
Yeah.
not exciting anymore.
Yeah, there's always something, like with this and with that, like there's always something to do differently, a way you can get better. And so that makes it exciting for me.
Oh, for sure.
You know, there's always something more you can do. There's a way you can get better at it.
So how long then have you been doing that? Or when did you start?
Riding motorcycles?
Yeah.
I started that in like 2018 maybe,
Okay.
17, 18, something like
Okay.
that. So a little while.
Okay.
3 or 4
And
years.
what is it called? Does it have a specific name?
Road racing.
Okay.
Only not racing.
Not racing.
So,
and not actually on
yeah,
the road.
and it's not really that I ride super bikes, because super bikes are like bigger bikes, but yeah, I guess just road racing.
What's your average speed that you're at? And I know that it fluctuates depending on your turns.
Average, like, it depends on the track. So referring to like Barber, I ride a 390, which is a fairly small motorcycle. So the fastest I can go on a straight is like 108, which is fine with me. But in like a corner, between 40 and 60 miles an hour. It just depends, like, you know, how tight the corner is, or
Right.
things of that nature. How
Have you had
short it
any
is.
like near misses?
Yes, I have.
That makes my hands sweat.
Yeah, I have. The closest I've come to wrecking that would have been bad was this last time in August 9th and 10th. I went to the track, and it was raining. Barber is a really good track for rain. It's really sticky, and the water drains really well, so it's fine to ride on it. But you can't just send it. You know, you have to kind of finesse it and do it the correct way. But I had this boy riding with me, and he's on a similar size motorcycle, and he had been just wiping my tail all week. And I was like, I'm not gonna let him get me this time, even though it's raining. And so he was behind me, I didn't want him to pass me, and I was just going too fast in this wet area, and my motorcycle went, and I was like, and so that was it for me. I got off the track, I was done. I'd had enough. And so I was like, I'm done with the rain, I'll sit in the corner, I'm fine, I'm done. So that was the scariest for me, because with the school, you know, it's kind of like it's a reward that you get to ride with them. They don't have to let you ride, you know, they allow you to. And so you don't want to wreck on their time and their dollar,
Right, yeah.
because it is their time. And if I wreck and I go down, everybody goes off the track, they have to send someone out to pick me up and my motorcycle up, and then the show doesn't go on until all that's fixed. And then, you know, you get oil in the track, they got to clean that up. it's just a big ordeal. So I don't want that to be me.
Sure.
I don't want to wreck it all.
Yeah.
But with motorcycles, it's not really if, it's when. It's gonna happen, but I wouldn't want it to happen then.
Yeah. So have you wrecked before?
Nope, just standing straight up and down. Or like when I first started riding, I couldn't get the gist of stopping. Okay. You have to pull the clutch in and then the brake, and you gotta have your feet down and all the things. And so I would like go to stop and I'd just fall over.
Had you ridden any type of like stick shift or manual vehicle ever?
Nope.
That's just what you learned on.
Learned on the motorcycle that I can barely touch my feet on the ground with. It was interesting.
And they're heavy. Like if you get it.
Yeah, you have to like make like a tripod. So you're like on the motorcycle and you have to make sure your feet are like out. Yeah. And so I would want to stick my feet straight down. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, it's not like a bicycle. No. It's really heavy. Yeah. That's nutso. Yeah. So the biggest thing to me about, which I've never ridden a motorcycle, I've ridden like dirt bikes and stuff. Mm-hmm. I hate the throttle being because I'm used to like 4-wheelers or Sea-Doos, and they all have like the thumb or the finger
controller.
Yeah. And this thing,
it's different.
I was riding my cousin's, which I was little, and I was riding his little dirt bike, and then I slid back on the seat, which made my hand go even more, and it just
that's
news bears.
That happens. It's kind of scary. You have to be very gentle with the throttle. That's the word we're looking for.
That's exactly what it is. So when's the last time that you rode?
August.
When are you going again?
I don't know. I'm hoping soon, before it gets cold, because once it gets cold, there's not good riding, because you really want the asphalt to be sticky, holds onto the tires. For sure. Once it gets cold, then you're just all over the place. Yeah. But hopefully soon. I'd like to go. There's apparently a track in Talladega. It's called Little Tally, that some of my local friends that ride go to. So that'd be cool to go to, because I've been to a lot of the West Coast tracks, but as far as East Coast, it's just been Barber.
Right.
So hopefully soon.
That's super cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
So going back to CrossFit, what are your goals? What are you working on right now?
Right now, I'm working on handstand walks. Okay. Which has been a journey. Yeah. I've never really tried to, do that. I just recently got to where I could do handstand push-ups, and so kicking up on the wall is one thing, but like getting away from the wall, it's been a whole other deal for me. What's gonna catch me? Yeah, and I like watched the videos, and I did some I do research. When I'm gonna do something, I want to know all about it, and so I've done the research, so I know what I need to do. But it's a matter of doing it. So I'll like kick up in a handstand. Somebody like Kevin will be here, and he's like, "Oh, you're not doing this." I'm like, I want to do it. Well, I can't. Like I know I'm supposed to do it, but my body just won't do it.
That mind-body connection is serious.
It's frustrating, but
And then you see like Kevin walking,
or Steven Sweeney
walking.
Justin, I'm like, Justin was over here the other day. We're like trying to have class, and Justin's in class, and they're back there. They've got the stuff set up. They got a box, and they've got the weights. And they're back there, and I'm just like,
so jealous right now.
So jealous, and you're just doing it right in front of me, just rubbing it in.
And then Jeremy Stidham can walk on his hands too. Which those couple guys, they can just. I think Kyle Thomas, he
yes, he can do it pretty good too. Yeah.
And he just kicked up out of nowhere.
Yeah, he's done that with a lot of things. Kyle just showed up and, hey, I'm here. I'm going to do CrossFit, and you just do all the things.
Yeah, and I'm going to be awesome at it too. So whatever.
Yeah, it's frustrating because some of us work on it for years and years and still can't.
And we still can't get it. Whatever. Yeah. I'm not sour about it at all.
Come in and do it. It's cool.
It's fine. It's fine. I'll just continue to stand over here.
Right.
And, whatever. Yeah. Let's see. What else you got coming up? So fitness goals, more like handstand, walking, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then since you transitioned into this whole coaching role, what are your goals through that? Or what made you decide to do that?
Well, I've always thought it was really cool. Just from the very beginning, the fact that you guys just watching y'all and you got control of the room and
sometimes.
All the sometimes it's a little harder than others, but you what you're talking about, and I thought that I knew what I was talking about for a while, and I thought I knew what I was doing, but maybe I didn't. So I really was interested by it, and I thought I would love to do it, but didn't really ever think that I could do it. I just didn't think it would work for me as a person. But then, like, after I took my year off. When I came back, I started really making myself focus on doing things correctly, because I had a lot of bad habits, and I still do. But I started focusing on that, and through doing that, I did a lot of research. And then I started, being here in class, I would see people doing things, and I'd say, hey, well, why don't you do this? Or, just giving them advice. And then I realized, like, my advice is working. Like, these people are actually doing what I tell them to do, and it's, getting them the thing. So that was cool. And then I was reluctant to do it because I didn't want to overstep. So one day, I think it was Kevin or Justin, one of them was like, you can tell them, like, it's cool, that helps me out. I'm like, okay. Yeah. So when I would see somebody doing something, I'd just say, hey, maybe you should do this or whatever. And then one day Kevin was like, you ever thought about coaching? And I was like, no, not really. He's like, I think you'd be all right at it. And at the time, I couldn't have done it even if I wanted to. I didn't have time. And I was like, well, thanks, that's flattering, but I could never do that. And then I got a different job that freed me up some time. And I was like, hey, Kevin, remember we were talking about that thing? I was like, you think that's still on the table? He's like, maybe. I could find out. And so then after that, it was like he just was poking me on it. So I started looking at, what I would do to get there. And then you and I had a conversation, and I went to the level 1, and I learned so much and realized how much I did not know. And it just kind of went from there. And it's been super, for me, just as a person, since I started doing this, it's changed the way I think about things completely. It's gained my respect for you guys by a lot. I mean, I already respected you guys, but you don't realize what goes into doing this and running this, which I still don't know what all goes into it, but just my little piece from what I do, it's very impressive.
It's the most rewarding and challenging thing. And then you do have those people that you give them the cue and they do the thing and they're able to do, and you're like, that was amazing.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's the best feeling to know that you helped somebody do it and then you see their excitement. It's really awesome. I've always loved helping people, but this is totally different. And it's really cool. Yeah. Like you get excited too. Like they did it, but I helped them.
Yeah, for sure.
Really cool.
I helped you to be able to do that, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
And then the biggest thing for me that some things why I get up in the morning and why I'm so excited to be up here. Not only are you helping someone get their first pull up or whatever, you're helping them figure out that fitness is fun for the first time ever in their life. Usually, fitness is something that people, it's almost like a,
you gotta do it.
Yeah, or I ate the pizza, so now I have to go run. Or maybe it was during sports where I did something incorrectly, and so the penalty was to go run or to whatever. Where now this is no, I look forward to being with my friends and working on this thing that's going to benefit me, and I get to also hang out with some cool people in the meantime.
Yeah.
And then for you, you're building this community and you're building these friendships and these relationships with people, and you're not just in your hole, like you said. And you're changing the trajectory of people's lives, which is for sure absolutely incredible that we have the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, it really is, because you get to see people come in here and their lives just change right in front of you. So,
and you're like, I helped them do that too.
Yeah, they make the decision, they do it, but being able to be a part of it is super cool, super rewarding, like you said.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's see here. What are I keep on going back to just being an athlete and people not having any idea what it's really like to be in front of a group, and because you weren't super comfortable with the public speaking part
No.
or any of the things, how did you overcome some of those? And I'm super shy too, and pretty hardcore introvert. How did you break out of your shell and you were able to to do the things in here?
I think it's part of just wanting to, you got to want to, especially if you're pretty shy and pretty introverted, you got to want to, be that person. And I really wanted that. I want to come in and people feel like, oh, I'm glad Lauryn's here. So it was just partly wanting it, and then just really knowing the material makes a difference. When you feel confident about what you're talking about, then it makes it easier.
Right.
And then just the people, they make you feel welcome, and they make you feel like, they trust you and they're listening to you. That makes a difference. Because I just didn't feel like coming in, I haven't been here that long. I wasn't sure, are people going to respect me? Like, are they going to want to listen to me? And I was very surprised that they did.
Mm-hmm.
And people were like automatically coming up to me like, Lauryn, can you help me with this? And so it makes you feel like you want to be a better person for them,
Right.
Like you want to kind of learn all the things, make sure you know what you're talking about before you just get up there and, all right, guys, we're going to work out today, and this is what we're going to do. Let's go.
Yeah, right.
So for me, it was just wanting to be better and getting comfortable. It took me a minute, and I'm still not there completely. Like, I still come in sometimes, like Thursday's workout, and I'm like, oh God, all these things. So it's overwhelming sometimes, but the members,
challenging.
Yeah, it's challenging, which is exciting.
Yeah.
It kind of gives you something like, how am I going to do this today? And then you kind of tackle it, and you're like, good job.
I did it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that helps a lot. Just wanting to, do the thing, and then the people, they make it so easy.
They absolutely do. Well
Yeah.
said. All right, Lauryn, that's all I got for you today. Thanks for coming in and chatting with us for a little bit.
Thanks for having me.
Guys, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Between Two Barbells. I hope that you guys enjoyed it, and we'll catch you on the next episode. See ya.